somehow, by the grace of the universe, I got into the Theerastour. This video will be my experience, tips and tricks on how to slay your day at the Theerastour. Now let me take you back. This all started November 2022, the ticket fiasco. When 8 million people logged on, only 1 million people got codes. The website crashed. It was a whole to-do. My friend, who never buys tickets, mind you, never, ever. Like, I'm always in the trenches. She gets a code. No one else gets a code. 10 o'clock, the tickets go on sale. 10:03, my friend texts me, and she's like, oh, there was like 1,900 people ahead of me. You know when you go on Ticketmaster and you like go on for the tickets, it says 2,000 people plus, for me at least, every single time. It never moves. The thing never moves. And then it kept moving. And she gets in like 2 minutes later. She's like, oh, I'm at 900, 800, 700. I'm like, and it's like 10:04 at this point. So she gets in. She was like one of the 0.01% of people that got in that wasn't a bot or a scalper or even got in at all. And like 3 minutes later, she goes, oh, I got them. Section 133. She got section 133, row 14. Within like the 2 minutes that she was in there. MetLife day one was my show. Going there, I always get a little stressed. I was nervous because I heard that all these people were going who didn't have tickets. And I'm like, okay, slay. Like, I would do the exact same thing if I didn't have a ticket. We're driving, vibes are immaculate, driving to the stadium. Absolutely immaculate. I've been to MetLife 4 times before. Twice for One Direction and twice for Taylor. And we always end up parking in this huge lot, 1,000 miles away from the entrance. And I don't know what happened, but we ended up in like this small lot that I think you needed like a permit for, that was really close to the entrance. I don't know how we ended up there. I was thoroughly confused. 18-wheelers right next to us, like the people that bring the stage. That helps. You're right by the Pepsi gate. So if you can look for the Pepsi gate, ask for the Pepsi gate and go park by the Pepsi gate. How many times can I say Pepsi gate? So we get there around 4 o'clock. We're vibing in the parking lot. We're slaying. Tip for getting there. Definitely leave early for getting merch. This is the big to-do as well. I don't know how it is at other stadiums, but at MetLife, they converted the football team, the Jets and Giants team store, as a Taylor store. So you could go the day before and get merch early. Even if you didn't have a ticket, you could go in and shop, and apparently that was a slay. MetLife is far from me. I did not do that. Day of, I'm like, we gotta get the merch. We gotta get the merch. We gotta get the merch. Just pounding that. Pounding that idea to go up on the concourse and go look for merch. And I go in the merch booth right outside. And yes, they didn't have everything. They had like 90% of the stuff. They didn't have Phoebe stuff. They didn't have Gal stuff. They didn't have like the muscle tee thing, the cutoff tank top. But they did have everything else. And the line was looking pretty short. It took about 2 hours. My advice for merch, either go the day before if you can. Go in as soon as you scan your ticket, just like I did. But I did miss Gail. And I ended up finishing getting merch like 6:24. That's honestly what it was. I looked at my phone and the show started at 6:30, so we didn't make it to our seats in time. I'm not missing the concert. I'm not doing that. So I'm not missing Mother. So I've seen people on TikTok say that the merch lines during the show are empty. No duh. So if you don't mind missing some songs, that would also be a good option. But personally, I'm going to be stood there for 3.5 hours while Mother is mothering. Strap in for this. You get there early. We could have gotten there early, but there was traffic. It was disgusting. I say get there extremely early. So looking back in hindsight, I would have been like, let's get there earlier. The parking lots for MetLife opened at 12:30. We also saw the huge merch truck. The lines were atrocious. So I think given our situation, we lucked out with that little thing that was outside the gate. We aimed to get there around like 2. Then also a big thing, which we did, which was amazing. You're gonna need liquid and food. You're gonna need it, besties. You are going to need it. This is a marathon. We brought a cooler filled with waters. We brought fruit, we brought cheese, we brought crackers, we brought some cookies, we brought chips. It was a whole to-do because, first of all, the stadium lines for food was disgusting. They were so long. I probably would have missed the beginning of Taylor if I stood on those lines. So the water bottles, I bought one water because I was extremely parched. They don't let you in with anything. And it was like $6. After the concert, you're gonna feel like a shell of a human being, but that's what I felt like. So I don't know what it's like for everyone else, but for me, I was feeling like a shell of a human being. We struggle busted back to the car. We lost the car for a bit because when we got into the stadium, so on your ticket, it said for hours what gate you should enter, being like what gate you're nearest to your seat. We weren't that far, which was good, but we did have to walk a bit. So leaving the stadium, I was confused. We were lost, we were confused, but we did find the vehicle. We opened the cooler. First sip of cold water was like, hallelujah. It was delicious. I had 3 bottles of water coming home. My friends and I, we were also part of the performance, clearly. So chugged the water, had some cheese, had some fruit, had some cookies. Because of where we were, it took about, I would say, 45 minutes to an hour to get out of the parking lot, which isn't that bad. I've been in worse. To get on the road, obviously, it's nighttime. There's not much traffic. I have seen people leave. I've seen on TikTok, if you want to beat the traffic, you leave during Karma. Again, that's viewer discretion is advised. I did not want to leave during Karma. We did book it right as she left the stage. There's 2 forms of people. They either sit in their seats, collect themselves, and be like, wow, what did we just do? Or what just happened? And then there's other people who leave before, and then there's like the middle people like me who book it as soon as she's gone and then collect yourselves in the car. They're very on time. They're not like other tours, like Harry's always late and everyone seems to be always late that I go to. No. Right at 8, she was on. So 6:30, Gail or whoever the first opener for you is comes on. She leaves at 7. Immediately, next act, she leaves at 7:30. 8 o'clock, Taylor's on. You need to be in the seat at 8 o'clock if you want to see Taylor open. A long time coming. Tips and tricks would be, get there extremely early. Bring water, bring electrolytes, bring snacks because you will need it or else you will feel faint. Bring a positive sleigh attitude and mindset. Bracelet girlies were such a sleigh. I didn't have the time or patience to be making bracelets and I still left with 3 bracelets. Some girlies were like, oh, do you want a bracelet? I'm like it was so cute watching them trade. Bring your bracelets if you're a bracelet queen. I don't know how she does it. 3.5 hours straight. And I went to 1989 and Reputation, and when she would go and change for those tours, first of all, those shows were also long. When she would change, it would take like 5 minutes. This was like 30 seconds. You turn your head and she's back on the stage in a different outfit. It's a different era. I've seen people base their entire experience, like on TikTok, based on what secrets, surprise songs they get. Don't do that. You're ruining it for yourself. Surprise songs are a gift from Taylor. She was just mumbling on the stage. I'm like, yup, give Taylor your all and scream your heart out because she's giving her all to us. That was my experience / tips and tricks on how to slay at the ERAS tour. The biggest thing is to remember to slay and have an amazing time. I know I did. Even if you don't have tickets to the ERAS tour, this isn't her last tour ever. She's obviously gonna tour again in the future. And if there's a stadium near you, go and vibe with the other Swifties. And it was a magical night, my boys. Anyway, besties, thank you for watching and I will see you in my next video. Bye, besties.
Yeah, a little vamping. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Guess what? No one opens the door.